we're looking to do this at least once a month. And really what we want to do is create a safe place for doctors to come to listen to each other. Throughout the month, we're going to be asking you guys questions and then utilizing the doctors to educate the ones that are utilizing these products in the field. And so I wanted to start out with a little meeting conduct. As you can see here, Maggie's the only one up above that's not a doctor. If you're not a doctor, I'd appreciate it if you just black out your screen so that we know who the doctors are here. And when I say doctors, I mean medical professionals. And so that will help just to make it feel like it's a safe place where they can interact. And so a couple of housekeeping things to start out with. If you guys have not, if you're listening to this or you're listening to the replay and you have not gotten this reference book, the doctor's reference is really a tool that we started building because we have so many doctors since starting this when we start late October. And I would say at least 200 doctors, and we're growing day by day. Every single day I'm having conversations. People on the team are putting me in front of them. And when I say doctors, I mean anybody in the medical field are just very intrigued by these products. And so throughout this book, it's going to be layered, if you will, the front of it really being the educational pieces behind it. And so you can see here, I just wanted to show you guys a couple highlights. Dr. Todd on the right side, he does an amazing job. He's a chiropractor of sports medicine, does an amazing job of just going through the different products and educating us on them and how they're working and also how he's utilizing them within the practice. If you guys want clinicals, there's also clinical buttons there that you guys can also press, and you can get those through the drive where you can send them out to other medical professionals if you want. One of the things that I also wanted to point out, we're continuing to add new things as you guys start to come to us and say, hey, this would really be a great tool, or we're missing this within the book. And so please feel free to reach out anytime and give us your feedback, because we want to just continue to make this a better and better tool. So one of the tools that we just added this month is the fulfillment account. So if you guys had watched the video, it gives you 3 different options to set up and make it organic within your clinic. And the second and third option gives you the ability to have products on the shelf and make a little bit more money while doing that. And so if you click this button, it gives you what to fill out so that you can set up that account. We also added a QR code, or we added a tutorial in the drive up above on the next page that really teaches you how to set up Canva if you guys don't know how to use it, but also any of the posters that you're building, how to add your own links to those posters. All right, a couple other things, and then we'll get to some stories. We also wanted to teach you guys, there was some of you that were asking, how do I set up that fulfillment account? And so these are videos that will walk you through exactly how to do that. And then also how to get your customers or your patients set up very easily, as they come through your facilities. Last thing is we're actually going to get rid of the DocTalk Telegram. We set it up. We had some doctors that were in it, but a lot of people were having trouble getting into there. And so I talked to corporate, and we're actually going to be creating a Facebook group for you guys. Whoops, let me go there. We're going to be creating a Facebook group for you guys that will be just specifically for the medical profession. And we'll be able to drop all the tools in there. The other thing we want to do is, as things are changing consistently, because corporate's trying to make this easier and easier for you guys, we'll drop in education throughout the month so that you don't have to just rely on this meeting itself. All right, I want to ask a favor from you guys, and I know this takes time, and I know everybody has little time, but the more testimonials that we get from you guys, we're going to hear from Dr. Jenny Baker here in just a few minutes, but the testimonials from you guys using the products are one of the best tools we've had so far. When we're sharing those, it just brings a whole different level of belief when the doctors are actually using the products. And so if you guys take a snapshot of this, this is how we'd like you to package your story. Keep it within 3 minutes so that if we're sharing it on social media or sharing it with somebody else, it's easy to share. and it'll give you a rundown of just how we want it set up. And at the very bottom is an email to make it easy for you guys to send that over to us, and then we'll load that into the book. All right. So that brings us to just a very special guest. Again, it's her birthday today. She decided to spend it with us. Dr. Jenny Baker, I've heard your story, but again, one of the most powerful things we can do is hear how the products are working for us as individuals in the medical field. And so would love just for you to come off mute and just share a little bit about, why you got on the products, how you were introduced to them, and then also what's happened since you started.
Yeah, definitely. So like Nate said, I'm Dr. Jenny Baker. I'm an emergency physician, board certified, and have been in the ER for the last 20 years. I'm living in Omaha, Nebraska right now, but actually work in Northeast Texas. We moved from there about a year ago, and I just kept my job there. And about once a month, I go back home or to Texas, I guess. And I work for a week of nights and then come back to Omaha. It's working right now for our family because my husband's working nights as well. He's actually at the Air Force Base here. But it's not something I want to do forever. Right now, it's okay, but it's not something that I want to continue for a long time. I actually do have my license here in Nebraska, but any new job, I'm not going to be able to dictate, my hours or anything like that. So for right now, this is what I'm doing. So I started the products back in November. I was actually introduced to them probably for the first time last August. So like when everything first started coming out. And I wasn't interested in even paying attention to them. And a few months later, another one of my friends comes and she says, "Hey, will you look at this?" And it was some of the research papers and things. She's like, "I'd really like to get your opinion on it." And so when I started looking at all the science behind everything, I kind of realized, okay, maybe this is something I need to pay attention to. So I signed up, started on the products in November. When I started, though, I started on lean, fit, hydrated, and calm. I figured energized and focused. I didn't need, it just didn't, I didn't think it was something that I wanted to do. So I started on those. And, with just those, I was having more energy. I was sleeping better. I wasn't having the night sweats. I wasn't having knee pain. It was getting me up out of bed to go to the gym and do things that I would not have done before. And then I was talking to a friend of mine and she's like, "Yeah, I do the energized every morning." And I was like, "You know what? I'm going to start trying this." So I started the energized and hydrated every morning before I get up to go to the gym. And then I take the other ones too, fit usually around lunchtime. But I realized I wasn't drinking my morning coffee. I wasn't looking for caffeine later in the day. On my night shifts, when I go in, I drink it on the way to work. And at 3 or 4 a.m., when normally that time is like the worst time, you're ready to take a nap, you need everything to stay awake, I wasn't getting tired. And so that energized was keeping me up through an entire 10 to 12 hours in the ER without having to have another source of caffeine during the night. So for me, that's what's been the biggest plus for me. I don't have a big weight loss story or anything like that with the lean, but the fit and the energized have helped me to just be out and about more and do what I have to do without having to rely on other sources and other things to keep me awake and going. Now, the problem with me being in the ER is that I work for a company that is staffed by the hospital. So I can't just go around and promote these to everybody that, I see. There are cases that if there is a patient, I will maybe discuss something with them, but it's on the side. It has nothing to do with, their treatment in the ER. So with not being able to do that, having the voice to tell people outside of the emergency department what they can potentially do to prevent them from coming see me in the ER has been a game changer. I mean, fit in itself can prevent so many things, and I won't have to see them for the broken hip because they fell because they lost all their muscle. I won't have to see the side effects of the injected peptides that need to be admitted to the hospital because they're now in renal failure and can't stop vomiting. So that in itself is what has driven me to want to, promote these, advocate for these, because bioactive precision peptides to me are the future of like preventative medicine. Like if you can get people on these now, you won't have the issues, at least not all of them, that you're going to have later in life. So that's what's kind of still driving me. And hopefully I won't have to keep traveling back and forth to the ER and can use Make Wellness and make that as my gift to people and helping them that way instead of having to treat their ailments and see them in the ER.
Yeah, I love it. Last week we had Dr. Kathy on. She's also in the ER, and the same thing. She's like, I'm just so tired of being the last chance for somebody and seeing so many people not making it. She's like, I want to get into this preventative as well. So thank you so
Yeah.
much. And something to add to that, I had a gym owner come over this weekend and they mixed the Fit, the Energize and the hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the green machine, and it's
Yes.
tastes like a sour apple, but it works really, really well. So
Yeah, that's what I said. It always tastes like a sweet tart to me. And I do that on occasion, but I love the hydrated tropical
oh
with the
yeah.
energized. It's delicious.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday and thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. So
Not a
now,
problem.
now we're going to move over to Dr. Christina Knox. And, this is a great, a lot of you guys were asking when we took the poll and you guys were, um, asking questions about the business. A lot of you guys were asking, okay, well, how do you get your practice started? How do you create that momentum? And how are you attracting other professionals? And so just to give you, before she comes on, in just a second, Dr. Knox, she hasn't even had a full first month. She's done 5,500 in volume. She has 4 to 5 doctors that are interested in doing this. And so she's doing all the right things. And so I thought none better than to have her on as kind of a rookie stepping into this and just really moving fast. And so Dr. Knox, will you come on and share a little bit of first of just your background, and then we'll dive into some of these questions.
Can you see me? I'm on my way home after a long day treating patients, so I hope you could see me. It's kind of dark
Yeah,
in my car.
yeah, I can see your
Okay.
face. You're good.
All right. So my name is Dr. Christina Knox. I'm a chiropractic physician in Chicago. My practice is a multidisciplinary practice where we have a full medical staff. And then I do a lot of physical therapy, rehab, chiropractic, and regenerative medicine mostly. So I have been implementing peptides in my practice for about 10 years, all injectable though. And, all the anti-aging, no GLP-1s. I don't agree with those. So we were missing the weight loss component. I've been doing anti-aging peptides myself for a very long time, 5 years, and I've seen a huge change in my body and everything, lean muscle, loss of fat, but then people wouldn't want to inject. They don't want to inject. They don't want to have to see my MD or MP. They don't want to, pay the price for them. And so, I wasn't getting a lot of people on them. So when I found out about these peptides, I kind of the other doctor said, ignored them at first, like, oh, no, oral peptides don't work. And then one of my nurse friends, Marianne, told me about them again. I'm like, maybe I should take another look. All my patients are asking for these. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to try them myself. Within 2 days, I was like, I loved in the morning I work out and I intermittent fast, and I was doing the lean, the hydrate, and the fit. And I loved it. My workouts were pumped, and I was tired with my workouts. I was pushing my workouts. I do weightlifting mostly, and I felt great. And then I felt energized. I got rid of all my coffee, like she said, and I didn't feel that crash. And then also, like, I would always get headaches. I got less headaches. I feel like I was having like a caffeine addiction almost. And then I'm sleeping better at night because I'm not drinking so much caffeine. So, also, the one thing I have to say, being summer, I'm very fit, but my diet has been a little, I don't know, you go out with the kids and whatever. But since I've been using these I haven't, stopped my injectables, but I'm using these in addition. I'm noticing definitely more cut, more lean. And I went to the pool the last 2 weeks. My friends were like, Christina, you look good. What are you doing? And I'm, 50 and a half. I'm almost 51. So, and my friends are 35. So, that I have to say I'm pretty proud of that.
Love it. Keeping up with them.
Yeah.
So explain to us, you have a patient that comes in. How do you introduce the bioactive precision peptides to them? Like what's your flow?
Yeah, so I actually, when I meet with a patient, I do a full consult, and a lot of them will say, I want to lose weight. So I will now, instead of, I ask them, hey, would you be interested if there is a solution for that? And they always say yes. And then I will actually, when I make their treatment plan, I put it into their treatment plan. So I'll put the and the lean into their treatment plan. I'll get them set up on it. You could either have them buy it straight from you and have them, but set them up with an account and then have it shipped back to you, or you could have it shipped to them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I just implemented a month ago, so I'm just getting started on this. I'm still, figuring that all out.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be working.
Yeah.
So that's in internal, that's inside your practice. How about
Yes.
outside your practice? Are you building outside as well?
Social media, really. I mean, I posted on the first day, and I couldn't even keep up with the orders and the amount of people. Like I said, being in my 50s, I have like 6,000. I'm on Facebook mostly.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did a post with myself and just saying, hey, I have a secret, and then this is the, peptides. And, you could look on my profile, go ahead and friend me, Christina Knox on Facebook. And then you could see what I posted, and I had a lot of interest. People really want to know about peptides. And then once I got them interested, then I private messaged them and I told them about it. And most of them bought the metabolic and muscle pack.
Okay. So when you're responding back on the social media, number one, I'm guessing because it's on
Yes,
Facebook, it's the majority of the people are people you already know, correct?
most of them. So since then, um, I think a big gold mine is your colleagues, like like women's chiropractic group. Okay, for me has
Mhm.
been, I can't even keep up. Once I'm off this call, I have 15 doctors I have to message back that are
So
interested.
but
Yeah.
utilizing groups within Facebook.
Yes.
Okay.
So I look at who is looking to make residual income. For some reason, right now, people are having a hard time in practice.
Mhm.
People don't want to, you know, I don't know. It's just a little slower, and it seems to be the consensus. And so people are looking for side gigs. People are looking for ways to make extra money, but also help their patients at the same time. My thing is, I don't want to have my hands on someone just to make money. I would like to make money from the beach at one point or in my sleep. And so, but still help people at the same time. So that's where the true residual income comes.
Yeah. Okay. So last question, and then I'll let you go. And thank you
Yeah.
for taking this while you're on the run.
Yeah. Always.
So duplicating yourself, you talked about obviously building residual is not just
Yeah.
about customers, but duplicating yourself on the
Right.
business side. Um, are you reaching out to most of the professionals through Facebook groups or are they personal contacts, or tell us a little bit about that, because you said you have 4 to 5 that are interested right now.
I have more than 4 or 5. I'm like, but I'm very thankful. I actually went into the groups, the
Mhm.
women's group, and people are posting, hey, what are some side gigs people are doing right now? What are some nutrition companies? For some reason, there's been a few chiropractors that said, hey, I'm interested in peptides. What's everybody doing for that? So
Mhm.
all I wrote in the comment section, I just wrote a general thing. Hey, bioavailable precision peptides are amazing. And I've been doing peptides for 10 years. I'm an expert in the field. If anybody has any questions, reach out to me. And I'm making an incredible residual income. And I'm looking for a few doctors to mentor to be on my team. If you're looking to, you know, join my, or I didn't say that, but if you're looking to make some extra income, private message me. I didn't say anything about make. I didn't say anything about that. I didn't mention that. I kept very generic peptides. And if they were interested in making some residual, and then I was looking for group. Right.
Love that. So even though you're talking to professionals, health professionals, you're still actually creating curiosity and
Yes.
driving them to ask questions. Love it. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you jumping on and again, doing it on the run. It means a lot. And you're just, you educating us on what's working is going to help a lot of people. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Take care.
Okay. All right, you guys, we're going to jump to our third soon-to-be doctor, Alan Jones, who a lot of you guys probably know. And what we're going to talk about is really the sleep industry. And this was a number that blew me away. I wanted to put this up there just so you guys could see this. Me and my wife, we've been in the health industry since '99, but in the direct sales channel since 2006. And it's always been on the sports performance, the weight loss, the anti-aging, which we've done really, really well. But when you take a look at the sleep economy, number one, obviously there's a lot of money to be made there, but more importantly, if there's a lot of money to be made, it means there's some huge problems that need to be solved. And so that's what our company is diving into. And so if you guys have not heard already, they wouldn't let me, I know the name, but they wouldn't let me put the name up yet. So we're going to call it Alpha right now, but we've been working on a prototype and actually testing it and doing case studies. And so I brought on Alan Jones. Alan, if you'll come on, we're going to talk a little bit about, what he's seen in the sleep studies and then also talking about the sleep product and how it can also pair with the Calm that a lot of you guys are familiar with. Alan, you there?
I'm here, Nate.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for jumping on. And you guys, I mean, he goes from one meeting to the next. He was just on, what do you guys call yours, the DocTalk? Because I just got to thinking, I'm like, maybe I need to change the name of this. I'm creating more confusion than anything.
No, we call ours, Nate, the peptide PhDs. Now,
Yeah.
I should be called the peptide almost PhD. So I'm not quite there. I'm literally about probably 60 days away now. I'm in the process of finalizing my dissertation and getting ready for defense. And so, and hopefully by our September event, I'm praying that I'm done. I've been doing this for 4 years and I am so ready to be done. So
we appreciate the time and effort you're putting into it because it impacts us greatly. So thank you.
It does. And what I study, Nate, specifically impacts what we're doing at Make. And that's what was such a God thing about this coming into my life when it did. So as you know, you and I had a lot of conversations and in the beginning I was pretty skeptical. I have to be honest with you. So
yeah. Well, and we have some time. So tell a little bit, like a quick helicopter view of how you felt when you first approached this, because I think there's so many doctors, especially the doctors that or medical professionals that want to go after others and bring them into this circle. You're going to have a lot of those that they only know peptides from a certain angle, right? So I think it's important for you to talk about that.
Yeah, and that was me. Nate, as a research scientist and, at that particular time, a PhD student, in my third year, I'm in the middle of research and, the area that I study is a disease state called sarcopenia. And sarcopenia is a recognized disease. It typically hits most people when they're in their 50s, but sarcopenia has its origins in our 20s and our 30s. And it's very much based on lifestyle and how we've treated our bodies during that time. So part of my PhD dissertation and my literature review was all about peptides, or so I thought. It was all about therapeutic peptides because there were a number of therapeutic peptides that are being researched for sarcopenia. So I was very familiar with therapeutic peptides.
Mm-hmm.
When, we all started talking about bioactive peptides, I really did not believe in bioactive peptides. And so, because I'm such good friends with you and with Justin Prince and with, our leadership team, and JP just kept encouraging me, look, go do your research, do your deep dive, take whatever time you need, just figure this out. And so I did. And so over the course of last June and July, I spent a absolute ton of time researching and doing a deep dive into bioactive peptides. And what I discovered was that bioactive peptides have been around for years and years and years. And the first studies on bioactive peptides were basically back in the 1970s. And so when I started seeing that, I'm like, okay, I started looking at the studies and doing that research. Well, let me give you an example. Let me fast forward to tonight. If you go back and watch our training that we just did tonight, a brand new study that was just released 3 days ago talking about bioactive peptides and the power of those bioactive peptides. So we are literally on the cusp of this new bioactive peptide revolution. And here's where it got me, okay? And this was kind of a trick question because I didn't think that it was really going to happen. But I told Justin Prince, our chairman, I said, look, if you can show me a bioactive peptide that can inhibit myostatin and can help us prevent muscle protein breakdown as we age, I'm all in. The very first research study that he sent to me was a study on PeptiStrong, our peptide that's in our Fit product. And guess what? A huge section of that was on myostatin. And I was floored. I was like, okay, God, I'm in. And so here we go. Been here for over a year now. And I tell you what, the things that we're seeing and we're developing, and we're just beginning. I've been in this business, Nate, for 30 plus years. I've formulated literally thousands of products. And I formulated products that I promise every single person on this call has heard about, has seen, has probably taken at one point. And so I've had a lot of success as a product formulator over my career. I've also been the CEO of a fairly good-sized pharmaceutical company based out of Fort Worth for about 3 years, which really was what spearheaded me into saying, you know what, I hate pharma. I know we've got a lot of medical doctors on here, but I learned some stuff in the back alleys of pharma that I did not like. And so I walked in, turned my resignation in, said, I'm going back to school. I enrolled in school and I started studying this disease called sarcopenia because I saw how impactful it was. And here it is 4 years later. I'm just about to graduate with my PhD in health sciences. My area of specialty is nutritional biochemistry and human performance, but my disease state that I really focus on is sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss. So it's a perfect impact to what we're doing here at Make Wellness, and I absolutely love it.
Amazing. And we are so lucky to have you, but also that we knew you well enough to keep you here to look long enough. And so
That's right.
So
You didn't quit on me, man. That's a good thing.
No kidding. So let's talk a little bit about sleep, because obviously that's something that we're really focused on. You have been doing a lot of case studies with 100 of the affiliates from Make Wellness, and will you give us a little bit of I guess background on the product itself, and then also what we could expect from it and what you're seeing from the test?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially what we have formulated, we formulated a product that uses a peptide that inhibits a pathway called the orexin pathway. And what orexin does in our bodies, orexin is essentially it's a biochemical that actually causes our bodies to secrete and produce a lot of cortisol. And
Mhm.
so a lot of times with sleep issues, what happens is that people have such a high level of cortisol in their bodies that they can't rest, they can't relax. The stress, excuse me, is literally just overwhelming their bodies to the point to where they have anxiety, they can't rest, they can't sleep, they get to sleep, they can't stay asleep. It's just literally a cascade of negative events that impact our sleep. Some of the things that we have access to in the pharmaceutical world, things like it, I'll say probably the single most important or most popular drug that I know of on the sleep side is a drug called Ambien. But the problem with Ambien is it might put people to sleep. However, what it does is it inhibits people's ability to enter into deep sleep and REM sleep. And I cannot tell you how important deep sleep is in the long-term prevention of things like cognitive dysfunction, dementia, Alzheimer's, all of those things, because it's during that deep sleep cycle that our body has the ability to detoxify our brain. And so you can see it down here, 47 minutes of deep sleep. Well, I don't know whose this is, but they're in the red right there. We need to get that deep sleep up considerably. Well, one of the things that we've seen with our sleep peptide product is
This
that
was
we're
this was mine before we started.
before.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Do you have an after, by the way?
I don't have a picture of it afterwards, but yeah,
All right.
but those came out of the red.
Yeah, and I can tell you some anecdotal stories. I mean, we are having some fantastic results. Now, one of the things that's come about out of the study is that we have literally, because we took our study population really from the general population. We did not take a study population that specifically had sleep issues. Okay. And so there were no exclusion criteria used for this. The inclusion criteria was that you basically qualified through through a company, what do you call that?
It was volume based.
Yeah. So anyway, there was an incentive. It was a company incentive to participate in the study. So we have 100 people, very general, no exclusion criteria. But what we've been able to ascertain from that study is incredibly important, because here's the deal. You've really got three types of users of this product, which is huge. Because if you talk about and you go back and look at those slides that you just talked about on the sleep market, Nate, that sleep market is really based on people who have sleep problems. Okay. Now, that's only about 40% of the total market of sleep. Okay. Fast forward that to what we've learned from our study. Our study has shown us that we have a very distinct population of people with sleep problems. We have another population of people who might be able to get to sleep, don't really feel like they've got sleep problems, but when they wear their Oura Ring and some of the wearable devices, they find out that they have issues getting enough deep sleep or enough REM sleep. I fit into that category. I have hardly in my life ever dreamed. So I wasn't getting a ton of REM sleep. When I first started wearing my Oura Ring, my REM sleep would be in the 15 to 20, maybe 25 minutes if I was lucky. My deep sleep was the same thing. I would typically wake up anywhere from 7 to 10 times a night, and my sleep cycles were just so short. Okay. So I was having really what we call non-quality, non-productive sleep, low quality, non-productive sleep. That is the second group of people that we're talking about. They think that they don't really need a sleep aid until they start monitoring it. And then all of a sudden, they're like, wow, my quality really sucks. I need to do something about it. And so that's where I was at. But then you've got this third group of participants that we discovered that really may not need our product every single day, but they're going to be dealing with, at times, very high stress. Their cortisol levels are going to be high. they're going to need assistance in getting a good night's sleep at that time. We, in our study, showed that that was probably about 10 to maybe 15% of the overall study population that kind of fit into that category. So if you think about this, you've got 40% that really experienced major sleep issues. They had some type of PTSD or some type of trauma in the past. They never dream. They never get to REM sleep. It's a protective mechanism for their body. We've actually got people that are getting REM sleep for the first time in years, and they're starting to have very high quality, very productive sleep. That's huge for the prevention, the long-term prevention of Alzheimer's, dementia, cognitive dysfunction, all of those things that none of us want to deal with. Okay. So that's about 40%. You've got this other 45 to 50% over there is where I fit. I think Dr. Sarah Outlaw fit in that as well. We had a few conversations about that. And let me tell you something, when you figure out that you can go down to 1 capsule from 2 capsules, because one of the things that we did in the study, we started everybody out on 2 capsules of our product. In my opinion, that was a mistake. We never should have started off on 2 capsules. The formula was too strong. I could take 2 capsules and I would not sleep. I was up, I was wired. It had the totally opposite reaction of what I thought it would. When I finally did go to sleep, I would wake up the next morning. I would be so groggy, hungover, feel like crap. I was like, I got to get off this. And so I just intuitively just backed it back to 1. And what we discovered was that about 50% of our users, 2 was too high. 1 was perfect. And once we hit that 1, then all of a sudden their sleep score started going up, their REM sleep started going up, their deep sleep started going up. They weren't waking up groggy in the mornings. And it was absolutely a tremendously beneficial product for sleep. So now we've got the first group, major sleep issues, 2 capsules works beautifully for them. And those 2 capsules for those people are like a godsend for them. One capsule for the people that don't think they have an issue, but might want to increase their quality sleep. And then an as needed benefit for people that are maybe overly stressed or have some type of a issue that they're dealing with. They just need some help getting some good sleep. So really, we're covering literally 100% of the potential population with our product. And so that was a fantastic discovery during our sleep study.
Yeah. And what it really shifted us from was a sleep product to more of a restorative product, right? Because now we can hit more people and we can actually help a bigger portion of the issues out there. So so tell me, because prior to this product, I loved Calm because Calm like helped turn off my brain, helped me like really kind of decompress, at night. How do you see Calm playing into this, or can they work side by side, or tell us a little bit about those products working synergistically?
Absolutely. So there are some common ingredients between Calm and our sleep formula. And the common ingredients, they're there because we wanted to really pay attention. When you start doing the research into the stress side of its impact on the human body, stress is a massive problem that we don't pay enough attention to in my opinion. And so when Calm was first built, Calm was built in a way to kind of help people kind of, reduce that anxiety, kind of slow down a little bit, just kind of get control of some of their emotions and what's going on. Now, my suggestion is you use it as kind of a 1-2 punch. This is the way that I have learned to use it, and I have learned that it works best for me. I'll take my Calm at about 6. Sometimes I'll take it about 3:30 or 4 o'clock. If I'm really stressed and I'm really focused on trying to accomplish something, I'm having a little bit of a mind block. I can't get my thoughts out. I'm doing a ton of writing right now. Calm helps just kind of bring it all back in. And, I take my energized and my focused in the morning. The one thing I don't want to do is take another energized and focused at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and not sleep. I'm not having to work all night long like Dr. Baker is. So I don't want to take it that late. So I'll take my energized, my focus together in the morning with a hydrated as well. I mix all of those together, take them at the same time. My calm is, usually 3:30, 4, 4:30, 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock. I really won't take it past 6 o'clock. And then I'll take my one capsule at night about 30 minutes before bedtime. And it is a tremendous synergistic combination of drop that cortisol down, drop that stress level, that anxiety down, and it just kind of helps carry you into the night. So yes, it can be a very powerful 1-2 punch for helping you get some sleep and reduce anxiety and control those cortisol levels.
Love it. Well, and I was trying to get Dr. Corey Abear, which we've had some really cool conversations with, because he had talked about the calm and the focus for ADHD, ADD, like those types of things. And so I always had thought of calm as just at night. And he's like, oh no, I have people take it in the morning. And again, to change that dynamic within your brain. And so thank you very much for jumping on. And man, it's always good just to hear your story and also how we're progressing within the company. I think it helps all of us a ton. And so you guys, before I end, I want to tease something for next week. It's been really fun to work with all these medical professionals, and it seems like I was saying earlier that it's becoming more and more and more. And so the cool thing is you get to hear all these different types of stories and modalities and where these interests lie. And so every single week, I'm going to be very or I should say every single month, where I'm going to be very intentional about when I'm seeing things happen consistently. I want to bring it to the table so that we can talk about it, because something like, the GLP-1s, that I was looking at statistics the other day, and it floored me. 1 in 8 Americans right now have taken a GLP-1. And statistics show, I'll pull them up in just a second, but statistics show, I think it's from 40 to 60, or maybe it's 50 to 60. That age group is actually at 20%. And so I want to have some conversations about this, because we have some doctors that are totally against them. We have some that are totally for them. And then we have some that are microdosing, and everybody is seeing different things. But what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of people that are taking them and they're scared to get off them. And so what I want to do is I want to have some of the doctors on that we're going to talk through that, because what we're finding is I have the products up there right now, and we'll dive more into them next time, but the products that really support them and can run alongside them, but then also an exit strategy, because a lot of these doctors, as I'm talking to them, they actually want their clientele to get off of them, but the clientele is scared to. And so we need to start to educate them and to understand, how do you start to do that so that they don't have that rebound effect? But at the same time, what we're going to do is we're going to start to educate. Here's those statistics right here. These are good to write down. Age 50 to 64, which I can't believe that they're taking GLP-1s at that rate, but 20% right now, and that's crazy to me. But I want you guys to write these numbers down, because we'll go into these in detail next month. But I was talking to a GLP specialist the other day. There was a lady on our team that got me on with him, and I started asking him questions. And I asked him, I said, so how many patients do you put on GLP-1s per month? And he said, about 1,500. And so we were talking through the different products, and I said, after I educated him on fit and hydrate and calm and also the lean. I said, what if we just took one product and knowing that the fit, increases protein synthesis, it increases muscle recovery, it increases performance, it decreases inflammation, it does all those things, and we could run that alongside that. I said, how many of those patients, of those 1,500 per month, do you think that you could actually get on a product like this? Knowing that the product cost about $119, they're going to get 10% off, so $107. He said he thinks he could get about half of them, and I was like, wow, half? That's a lot. That's a lot more than I thought. Okay, but I want you guys to write these numbers down, because these are very good for yourself, but also when you're starting to talk to others that are utilizing these. As I said, okay, well, just for number's sake, I said, let's just say the product's $100. And you just said that 750 of your clients would get on them per month. Okay, that's generating $75,000. Okay, they're going to make 40% of that. So that's a $30,000 check that's coming in every month. But more importantly, it's not during that period of time when they're in their four walls is the most important part. It's when they leave. Because if you educate them and they understand that if they increase lean body mass, exactly what Alan was talking about, the sarcopenia, that the way to help you, the fountain of youth, if you will, is increase lean body mass or at least maintaining it. If we can teach that 30,000 lasts forever because those people are going to make that part of their grocery list, right? And so we're going to talk through that. I'm going to bring different doctors on. We're going to go through statistics and stats and show you guys some numbers. I think it's super important that we start to educate on, like we spend this hour really focusing on one thing at a time so that we can understand it at a deep level and then we can pass that information on. One of the other things, if you guys want this, is kind of a crossover from you guys. We made a similar book to the doctor's one, to the doctor's reference, but it targets fitness. And so we have all kinds of different tools on here. We have different nutrition programs, and we even show them how to create plans where they can do transformation contests where they're giving away the nutrition for free when their clientele is buying the products. And we're going to keep adding to it. As we bring on more and more fitness professionals, we want to continue to give you guys more and more tools. But I think this can cross over nicely with some of the things that you guys are doing. So write this down. This is our next DocTalk meeting. And we promise to always keep these under an hour. We're at 47 minutes. But like I said, next time we'll have a specific area that we're going to be talking about. And just want to say I appreciate you guys. You know, having as many medical professionals as you guys, it really brings something special to the company. And we don't take that lightly. And we really, really appreciate what you guys do for us. So hope to talk to you guys soon. I will also be sending out, one last thing. I think I skipped over it a little too fast. In the doctor's book, and I think it's the third to the last page, there is a little button where you can click on and you can fill out a Google form. And one of the questions it's going to ask is, number one, would you like to be a speaker on here? Do you have something that you would really like to talk about within your profession? Do you have a testimonial that you would like to get? And then also, you know, are there any questions that you would like answered? And then the last thing is, would you like to be a part of a Facebook group? I was talking to corporate and we both thought that probably the best way to communicate back and forth, especially as we're continuing to grow this business and things change here and there, and we're trying to make this even more turnkey for you guys, is to have a landing page that's just you guys. It's none of the normal people, none of just the sales people, I should say, but allows you guys to have a safe place that you can go, you can look up things, you can grab tools from. And so fill that out. Let me know. The more information we can get, the better we can serve you guys. So we love you guys, appreciate you guys, and have a great night.